Welcome everyone to our second Women's Fast Pitch of 2021, the Southeast region. Hi, I'm your MC for the evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. And I'm Dr. Sylvia Ma, the founder of Stella Labs, and with my amazing team that's on call right now and in studio and across the nation, we welcome you to the Southeast region of the Women's Fast Pitch. Without further ado, I wanted to also introduce to you our wonderful sponsor, Kohlhepp, who is being represented by Lila Inman, associate at Kohlhepp. She's representing Kohlhepp from actually Reston, Virginia, and she counsels emerging growth companies and mature private and public clients on a wide variety of corporate matters. And she also advises a number of leading venture capital and private equity firms. Welcome to the show today, Lila.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Wonderful.
As Sylvia mentioned,
go ahead.
I was just going to tell folks who may not know about Kohlhepp that we are a law firm of over 1,300 lawyers across the U.S., Europe, and Asia, best known for representing leading innovators across all industries. And we are deeply committed to diversity, both internally and externally, and are extremely proud to be a part of today's program, and wish best of luck to all of the presenters.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lila. We have our contingent here in San Diego that are helping entrepreneurs always. So we are so humbled and grateful for your sponsorship. So introducing a little bit about Women's Fast Pitch. We've been around for 6 years already. This is our third year that we are doing it nationwide. So this year, 2021, even during the pandemic, we were at work trying to create this for the founders across the nation. It's a virtual competition in 6 regions over 6 weeks. So join us every Tuesday. This is our second one, as I said, and we have some amazing founders here with us today. They're ready to go. They're ready to pitch to you. They're ready to showcase their wonderful startups. Winners advance to the Women's Venture Summit on September 17 and 18 for our 2-day virtual experience for female founders and female funders to connect, build bridges, and then that winner who wins at the Women's Venture Summit wins a $10,000 investment and about $30K in-kind services. This is all being produced by the wonderful Stella Labs, which is a business accelerator for female-led businesses. And we really are striving, as our vision is to increase representation and funding opportunities for women founders, and also connecting with Stella Angels, which is an angel group that also does exactly the same thing for the female investors out there. So please stay tuned until the very end as you hear all of these wonderful founders, all from all of our wonderful sponsors, and stay tuned until the very end to hear about 3 special announcements. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our fabulous set of judges. We really value at the Women's Fast Pitch to not only have judges that are wonderful mentors and judges and are very active in their ecosystem, but are investors themselves. So they really understand the investor perspective and be able to really judge the wonderful founders that are here. So the first judge that I would love to introduce to you to is Angela Lee. She has started about 4 startups and is also the founder of 37 Angels, where I took my first angel investment workshop from her about 10, 12 years ago. So she is it's an investing network and has evaluated over 15,000 startups. She also serves as a venture partner at Fresco Capital, an early stage venture fund that focuses on the future of work, digital health, and sustainability. She is also an award-winning professor and former chief innovation officer at Columbia Business School, where she teaches venture capital and leadership courses. Welcome to being a judge, Angela Lee. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Sylvia, and you're aging us.
Oh, no. We're just like a fine wine here.
There you go.
The next judge I'd like to introduce to you is Ni Ahene. He is a chief strategy officer at Tenuity, North America's largest independent performance-based digital marketing agency. He is also an expert in Amazon sales, marketing, and e-commerce. So he knows what you're talking about, founders. Be careful. No, he's amazing. His thought leadership has landed him coverage in the New York Times, New York Post, Marketing Land, and DigiDay. Thank you for being here today.
Glad to be here, and yeah, started an agency back in 2007, and very active in the San Diego angel scene here. So yeah, very excited to learn more about the today's panelists.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Next is Carrie Fair. She is the sole proprietor of Stated, a marketing consulting firm partnering with small and medium-sized brands. She's also a member of Women of SDAC, which is the San Diego Angel Conference, an aspiring angel investor who puts money down onto founders because of the network that we have at the San Diego Angel Conference. She is inspired by two entrepreneurial parents, backed by an MBA and Fortune 20 experience. Carrie brings pep, strategy, and clarity to brands looking to amplify their marketing. Thank you so much, Carrie, for being part of today.
Thank you, guys. Glad to be back this year and excited to meet more founders.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least is Miss Rini Lia Caicos. She is a managing partner of Lia Caicos Law, a legal practice that supports entrepreneurs, small businesses, and emerging growth companies. She also supports women-focused organizations and serves on the boards of Lawyers Club of San Diego, Hair Hub, and is a mentor to Stella Labs. Just so many years of being a mentor and advisor. Thank you so much. And she is also a Stella Angel, which we are so proud for you to be part of our network. Thank you for being here, Rini, today.
Thank you, Sylvia. I look forward to today.
Wonderful. So before we go into meeting the founders and going into the pitches, how will today go? So they have 90 seconds up to 3 minutes pitch. They have all been pitch prepped, so they're ready to go. The Q&A is going to be done by all of the judges. The judges actually were sent before the founders that are pitching today, and they picked the ones that they can really ask really great questions. So the audience out there, listen to those great questions because they're going to be supportive, they're going to be possibly clarifying, and most importantly, promotion-focused questions. So with neutralizing bias out there, the judges do a really, really great job of doing that. They have about 5 minutes in that question and answer. The judging rubric that the judges are using is the same that we did for round one to pick the top 5 semifinalists, and also to go on to today, they use the same judging rubric. So across the ecosystem that we're building, we're making sure that those startups are being evaluated by the same scoring matrix, but definitely different judges, definitely different investors. So we get the best of the best innovative companies that are pitching to you today. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to the Meet the Founders video, and you can get to know them a little bit more. Wonderful. Doesn't that inspire you to listen to their pitches even more? And we have our first pitching startup ready to go. I see Jackie and Brittany ready to go. So Jackie Kohlhepp and Brittany Betit of ResRev. Go ahead and pitch.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jackie Kohlhepp. My partner Brittany Betit and I co-founded the ResRev, a two-way mobile and web-based app that connects job seekers and talent seekers using personalized video introductions. Companies spend countless hours and dollars recruiting and still can't find the right talent fast enough. Candidates spend hours writing resumes and submitting job applications, leaving them tired and frustrated. That's why we're on a mission to rehumanize the hiring process, giving people a chance to tell their professional story, to get hired and to hire better. Our basic product offering allows job seekers the chance to create elevator pitch style video resumes and talent seekers to create elevator pitch style video job requisitions. Our filter and search feature makes it easy to scroll through a tailored list of qualified job seekers or to scroll through and meet talent seekers virtually right from the palm of your hand. We know that there's a huge market and that companies are investing significant funds to hire the right people. The total area market in the US is $136.4 billion and only expected to grow. Our initial geographic focus is in Charleston and in South Carolina communities at the moment, where we have extensive networks. This year, we anticipate hitting our target revenue of $62,500 based on the early traction and letters of intent that we've received. By year 4, we anticipate being at nearly 5.3 million in revenue and having over 1 million users on our platform. We're excited that we have competitors, because to us, that means we're on the right track. TikTok conducted a video resume pilot this year. There are also several other smaller startups that are building a video resume platform similar to our concept. Our go-to-market plan is that we are having a win-win pricing model that we believe is going to incentivize university partners, university career centers, to partner with their employers. Once we finish partnering with employers at universities, we're then going to move on to staffing agencies and workforce development agencies to continue expanding. This past spring, we partnered with a local university and 6 employers to test our idea, and feedback from this pilot gave us our proof of concept. One of our pilot employers actually became our first investor. We're also excited that we've received several commitments from local companies to use our product. Our powerhouse team of tech experts, talent acquisition experts, advisors, and investors are all committed to the success of our company and to all who use the ResRev platform. Our fundraising goal in this initial priced round is $750,000 in order for us to continue developing our app, adding in-app coaching, ATS keyword scanning, personality tests for candidates, multiple video submissions, and more. Thank you, and we hope you'll join our resume revolution.
Wonderful job. I'm excited to hear the question and answer that is going to be led by Angela Lee and Rini Lia Caicos. Angela, do you want to go first?
Yes, happy to. So the first question I have is, there is some data and some pushback that people have gotten on platforms that do video resumes that it actually increases bias rather than diminishes it. And I'm curious, given that diversity is very much central to what you're all doing, what response do you have to people who challenge this type of kind of interview and resume format?
Thank you for that question, Angela. That's a great one, and one that we actually get asked quite often, believe it or not. We fully agree and believe in equitable and fair hiring practices, and that's something that we actually want to promote through our platform. We believe that in a lot of positions, hiring the right person matters more than the right skill set. We're not talking about surgeons, obviously, we want them to be highly credentialed and skilled, but in professional services industries, who you are matters a lot. And through our app and our in-app coaching, we actually hope to coach talent seekers on how to hire better and follow best practices with regards to hiring and talent acquisition.
Great. Another question I had is, whenever we're talking about markets that are fairly crowded from a marketplace perspective, I always like to ask the question, because you had the slide with the multiple bullet points in terms of your features and benefits, but I always like to ask how people really talk to each other, right? So I'm a job seeker talking to another job seeker, or more importantly, I'm an HR manager talking to another hiring manager. And I'm like, you have to use ResRev. What is the one sentence thing they say to their friend as they're passing through the hall, specifically on the hiring manager side?
That's a great question. I think the biggest differentiator for us, because that's what you're getting at with this question, I believe, is our in-app coaching features. We are offering in-app coaching for both job seekers to help them with video etiquette, helping prepare them for the job market and this global digital workforce that we're entering into. And also we're offering in-app coaching for the talent seekers, as I just mentioned previously, to help them with best practices with regards to hiring and talent acquisition, and also how to promote a healthy and profitable workplace culture.
That is great. My small point of feedback is that, realizing this was a very quick pitch, that doesn't pop as your value prop. And I think it's really important. Advice I always give to founders is give your pitch to 10 people who don't know you, and then ask them, what does my company do and what is the value prop? And I would argue, if you want them to say in-app coaching, that needs to be a little bit stronger and more at the forefront of your pitch.
That's excellent feedback. Thank you.
Sylvia, should I keep going?
We have Rini that would like to ask some questions. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. As a lawyer, one of the first things that pops into my mind is, what legal protections do you have in place, in particular for your IP? And I see you're an LLC, so I assume the corporate compliance is in place.
Yes, Rini, thank you so much for that question. As an attorney, you probably know that software can actually be difficult to patent. However, our legal team is working actively on securing the proper patents and trademarks for our product and our company. And we do have the backing of the LLC as well for additional legal protection.
Great. And speaking of your team, can you tell me a little bit more about the background and experience of your team, in particular the two founders?
Absolutely, I would love to. Thank you for that question. So Jackie and I are both co-founders and CEOs of the ResRev, and we actually started our own companies in February of 2020. Jackie started her company focused on talent acquisition and has an extensive background in hiring and talent acquisition, especially in regards to nonprofits. And I started my own company helping job seekers actually get connected to work as well. Anything career services relating, from resumes to career coaching, anything in between. And we actually decided to come together to start this platform because of our backgrounds. We thought that it was a great partnership to create this because we had extensive experience on both sides. I also have experience as a hiring manager as well. So we saw the gaps and deficiencies that exist in the current process. And our other team members and advisors are phenomenal. They have incredible experience not only on the tech side with our tech team, building and bringing apps to market, but also we have legal advisors as well, and we have other business strategy advisors, valuation experts, and just incredible people who are well connected in the community as well.
Great, thank you. That helped, in particular with the clarification on the two founders. Telling us a little bit more about your background gives me a better sense of why I think the app is well, positioned. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions from Angela or Rini?
Data that I would want to see in diligence is, does this take more time on the hiring manager side? And does this result in lower turnover rates? I realize you're still new, but that's data that I would want to see in diligence.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a great point. And actually, on average, recruiters spend about 6 seconds looking at a resume. You've probably heard that statistic thrown out before. And we know that looking through a stack of resumes can be overwhelming. Our hope is that with our platform and the short video snippets, that it actually will save time and make the process more effective and efficient. And also hiring the right person for the position will help with those turnover rates to keep retention high.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the wonderful pitch, Brittany and Jackie, and thank you for the wonderful questions, Rini and Angela. So we are transitioning into pitch number 2, but while we transition, I want to just remind the audience I'm actually on my phone on the YouTube link, on the live YouTube link. So there's a lot of little chit chat. So make sure that you're on there, that you like and subscribe to Stella Labs, and chat it up, give some congrats, some atta girl, that like, good job, let's do this, let's go, all of those wonderful superlatives of how these wonderful female founders are pitching and doing fabulous work in their industry. So I just want to make sure that Ahriana is on. Oh, there you are. Wonderful. So our next pitching founder is Ahriana Edwards of Vaila Shoes.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can, and we can see you. Go ahead.
Perfect. Psychologists have long since proven that if you look good, you feel good. Yet millions of women don't have the option to do either. I'm one of them. My feel-good moment is when I embody the lifestyle of a boss woman. I would find those dress suits, accessories. But one thing that I could never find was shoes in my extended shoe size. I wear an 11 wide, and when I'm shopping for shoes to accommodate my business lifestyle, I always run into racks with little to no options. I find myself going to multiple stores, shopping online for hours, even borrowing shoes because I didn't have any. And I'm not alone. 16 million US women go through the same problem of finding fashionable and professional shoes in their extended shoe size. For decades, we've been unsupported by society's beauty standards and unconsidered within the retail footwear market. How am I supposed to be able to show up as my best self if I don't even have the shoes to accommodate me? Hi, I'm Ahriana, and I'm the proud founder of Vaila, where business fashion meets extended shoe sizes. And ladies, we're in stock. Vaila is a business lifestyle shoe retailer for women with extended shoe sizes. Through e-commerce, we curate shoes from multiple vendors in extended shoe sizes and fashion flexibility. We're bringing back light into their shoe shopping experience with options. Here's our industry competitors, but where we succeed is that we specifically create the footwear space that caters to them, rather than having them conform to a space that doesn't support their footwear needs. Vaila is the easiest way to find extended shoe sizes because all we have is extended shoe sizes. Our business model is simple. When customers purchase their shoes on Vaila, that brand pays us an affiliate commission. We also have a private label shoe line to meet customer demand. The women's online dress shoe market is a $34 billion industry, and our served market taps into $3 billion of it. We surveyed over 300 women and found that they were spending at least $85 on shoes that they didn't like, that just filled the need for the shoes in extended shoe sizes. Over 90% of them gave us their email because we were doing one essential thing: providing them the power of option through footwear. Since then, we participated in accelerators, gained and grow our community, and we raised over $21,000 in non-dilutive funding. I have assembled an amazing team of advisors with a 35-year combined background in e-commerce and the footwear industry. We're seeking $50,000 to develop our website and product development as well. We also want to fulfill sales. With your help, we're able to source wide fit shoes to meet customer demand in extended shoe sizes. Our goal at Vaila is to have our customers embody the boss women that they are, not what society has defined for them. For all you women out there with a size 9 shoe and above, know this: your foot size is bold, beautiful, and classy. There are amazing shoe options for you to choose from, and you can find them all on Vaila. Thank you. Please connect with us.
Well done, Ahriana. And I'm a size 11, so thank you for doing what you're doing. Without further ado, we have the two judges that will be doing the question and answer, Rini Lia Caicos and Ni Ahene. Rini, would you like to go first? Or Ni would like to go first?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. Enjoyed it. I do have a couple questions about the process. For instance, one of the things about ordering online for me is always return policy. Tell me how that works for you, and what kind of thought process you've put into action thus far.
Yeah, definitely. So we're still thinking about thinking through our return policy, right? That's one of the biggest problems within the footwear industry, really having returns and, really having that being very costly. So one thing that we wanted to use the funding for is actually to help with that on our platform. We want to develop an algorithm solution to help pre-select the known customer size, have a follow-up email with sizing feedback. And unknown customers who come in and shop for our shoes, have it input their size info. We are hoping that this will help reduce that sizing and returns problem that's happening in the footwear industry. But yes, ideally, we are having a certain time frame of the returns for our business, and that's 1 month to return the shoes. So that's the answer to your question.
Wonderful. And again, as a lawyer, I want to ask the question of what legal protections do you have in place with respect, are you an entity? I didn't see any reference to that. If so, what? And what are you doing with respect to your IP?
Yeah, definitely. We are a limited liability company, so we're LLC, but we are transitioning to being a S Corp. So we're looking into having that process be well and protected. We also have a trademark pending on our name, Vaila Shoes.
Wonderful. And I have one more question. You seem to have put together a fabulous team. Are there more on your team? And who are you looking to add? Meaning, what kind of position?
Yeah, definitely. So this is my team. I'm a solo founder, and these are my board of advisors. But we are looking to hire and expand out our team. I'm looking for a co-founder that has a background in the shoe buyer space, right? So wanted to make sure that if we're going to be that platform to give them options throughout footwear, that we choose the right options for them. So we want to have that. And then we also want to have a marketing manager, much like a lot of people do, because it takes a lot of time. And also a web developer. So those are the next three individuals on our team that we're looking to expand with.
Very good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Awesome. So I'm definitely a big fan of this concept. I know that for women's fashion and apparel, society has a certain set of expectations, and it's challenging if you don't fit in that mold. So I'm always happy to see companies and entrepreneurs focusing on inclusion here. I guess my question is, you mentioned your monetization model. Help me understand that right now. So are you looking to curate a selection of shoes that are available on third-party retailers, or are you looking to bring inventory in yourself to sell off the platform yourself?
Yes, thank you for asking that question. I definitely wanted to explain that a little bit more. So ideally, the source of our Vaila platform is to work with extended size shoe brands. So we want to have their products, and we're working with small businesses to try to get them exposure on the platform that they have extended shoe sizes. But what we found is that there has been a gap even in their shoes. They only have extended shoe sizes, and they're really falling behind on the wide width. We've noticed that during customer discovery, a lot of the women that we surveyed, they have extended shoe sizes, but they also have a wide width. And so what we're doing right now is working with manufacturers and private labeling their shoes, but also adding in that component to have an extra wide width, because that is where our customer demand is right now.
Got it. And so just to clarify, so you would be working with those manufacturers and you would send the sales to their websites, or you would buy those yourself, buy inventory yourselves and sell retail off the Vaila Shoes website?
Yes. Yes. So we're going to buy their inventory and sell it on the app. So twofold, wholesale, and then also working with those vendors for commission.
Fantastic. Only feedback I'll add there is that I've worked probably over with 1,000 different e-commerce websites. There's a company we worked with maybe 3 to 4 years ago that specializes in shoes for ladies interested in horseback riding and larger sizes there. And they have a tremendous business, and that's super niche. And so the opportunities to do this for business apparel or athletic apparel, I think there's a huge opportunity there. So I'm excited about that. In terms of current traction, help us understand where you are in terms of the development of the app and the website. You know, what's in existence, what's kind of still prototyped. Help us understand, you know, how far are we from a public release?
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking to release in November, right around that heat time of Black Friday. We want to have everybody who has an extended shoe size be able to get a pair of shoes for themselves and bless somebody else. And so right now we're just having the website. And so we're utilizing a specific platform, and we're just right now plugging in those algorithm, specific factors that we wanted to put in there, as mentioned earlier. So yeah, we're about 1 month away from really having our website done. Right now, we just have up a waiting list that you can sign up for. But yeah, and then there just becomes the fulfillment of the inventory. And we also have 2 secured vendors that we have on our platform, and we're looking to secure the final 3 by the end of September.
Fantastic. And the last question on my side is, it's awesome that you guys have a wait list. I'm on the website right now to kind of build up that list before you launch, but talk to us about the days, the weeks, the months after launch. How do you intend on getting the word out to potential customers here?
Yeah, definitely. So what we want to do is just really have a movement. As mentioned earlier, the footwear industry, they just do not show love to women with extended shoe sizes. And so we want to offer and have a body positivity marketing plan. So right now we are looking to launch the #InHerShoes marketing campaign and really shed some light on this topic, really talk about what it is to be a woman in extended shoe size, and also sharing that, that negative connotation around extended shoe sizes. And so also we want to look into potentially, you know, following up with a lot of our customers. Right now, we just partnered with the JCS project, and they send out care packages to college students. And so what we're doing is putting our marketing materials in there and following up with those college students, because we feel like that's the sweet spot in entry to getting into that market.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think anytime you can create a movement, something bigger than just the company and the brand, it definitely helps to push things forward. The only feedback I would give there is that that's great to kind of create the halo effect around the brand and the company. You will absolutely get sales that way. But as you start to dabble in paid acquisition channels, things like Facebook, things like Instagram, things like YouTube, things like Google, really understanding, you know, what it truly costs when you need to amplify things with dollars, because your next investors, they're always going to ask, if I gave you $100,000, how many customers do you think you can get? And so I know you guys are pre-launch, you don't have those numbers yet, but keep that in the back of your mind. The movement stuff is great. That will help to create a halo around the brand. You'll get some diehards there, but investors absolutely want to know what your customer acquisition costs are. And so as soon as you can start to test there or find partners that they can test there, understanding those numbers, understanding your margins, that's going to be key to scale.
Definitely, definitely. We're planning that out to get those early customer acquisition costs. Thank you.
Yep. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much. There's some question and answer. There was some awesome feedback. So well done, Ahriana. Thank you so much. So when we're getting the next pitch ready to go, I wanted to also remind the audience a little bit of a shout out to our Women's Fast Pitch sponsors. Of course, you've already heard from Cooley, and you're going to hear from them again and when we have judges deliberation. But we also wanted to shout out the other sponsors, Next Wave Impact Foundation and the Impact Seat, who has also pitch prepped a couple of different of our founders. So really excited about the sponsors that come alongside us to sit beside a founder and help her through the the pitch prep process, and also just the launching of her business and the scaling of her business. So I think we have, yes, we do. We have our next founder ready to go. And this is Yuen-Li Chan of Phoenix Waste Solutions. Go ahead. And we can see you, and yes.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Over 2 billion tons of waste is thrown away every year, except there's really no way. I'm sorry, seems to be hanging. My computer seems to be hanging for a moment. Hang on.
No problem. I think why don't you do this? Why don't you stop sharing the screen?
Okay, can you see my screen right now?
Oh, we can see your screen now. So maybe you just kind of needed a little bit of a wake up.
All right, well, let's just continue on and let's see how.
Go ahead then.
Go.
Yes.
All right. So over 2 billion tons of waste is thrown away every year, except there's really no way. And the world's trash problems is at crisis level. Waste is a leading cause of climate change, and millions of animals die every year from plastic pollution. By 2050, there'll be more plastic than fish in the sea. But what if we can turn trash into reusable ash and energy? We are a technology company that's making waste management regenerative. The Phoenix is a waste disposal machine that reduces food waste, plastic, styrofoam, paper, even e-waste and tires into ash and electricity without using any fuel. An incinerator with similar capacity uses 1,000 gallons of diesel per day. Its air emissions exceed EPA standards and have 98% less greenhouse gas than landfills or incinerators. It's the size of a van, easily deployed to where the waste is, saving transportation costs and carbon impact. In April this year, Shell Oil sponsored a trial where 30 cubic yards of trash was reduced to 1% volume. A prototype consistently processes 1,000 pounds of waste per hour. Our ion furnace creates heat of 1,000 degrees as well as pollution control. See how the ions prevent smoke from forming. The Phoenix is the first real disruption to landfills and waste incinerators since the 19th century. Not only is it cleaner, it's also cheaper. The processing cost is only $28 per ton with the Phoenix. The Phoenix is scalable. It supports recycling, not replacing it. A compelling value proposition is that it's cheaper and more sustainable. The Phoenix has innovation traction, as evidenced by our recent National Science Foundation seed grant. We have product traction with 2 pilot studies lined up in Q4 with Shell Oil and Posh Farms. As for our go-to-market strategy, we are currently negotiating distribution contracts with 2 US waste companies and 1 in New Zealand. The global waste management market is worth $2 trillion. The United States alone has an SOM of $1.8 billion. With target markets, the early adopters will be prospects with sustainability goals. Next are prospects who pay over $20,000 per month for waste disposal. And third are countries with poor waste infrastructure. Our business model is to deliver vision, value, and velocity. We plan to break into the market through distribution partners with a network of clients who trust them. Second, to continually improve our product and manufacturing efficiency. The team currently consists of the 2 founders. My partner, Tamara, has 35 years experience as an engineer, and I have been an entrepreneur and environmentalist for 30 years. We self-funded a company for the last 2 years and are only a few months away from our final commercial design. We aim to raise $2.2 million to build a robust company to bring the commercial design to market and fulfill sales. Thank you very much.
Wonderful job. Love the presentation and wanted to transition right into question and answer. We have question and answer being led by Carrie Fair and Angela Lee. Wonderful. Carrie, do you want to go first?
Great, yes, love it. And I love the opening with, 2.12 billion tons being thrown away, yet there is no way. I think that has just been, driven home in the last couple of months and years, and just that, a solution is so needed. And I love the visual of taking the big Shell backed project and then, reduced to such a small portion. That stood out in the presentation to me. So it seems so smart to me. I would love to hear about the competitive mix. Why aren't other people doing it? Why aren't, even the waste management solutions already investing in something similar?
Well, I think, people are persisting with their landfills. There's a lot of upfront capital already invested in the landfills. It costs something like $80 million per acre for a landfill to be built. So landfills are extremely expensive. Waste to energy plants cost $500 million to set up. So those people who invested in those technologies are, shall I say, pretty vested in maintaining those technologies and not really looking at alternative forms of disposing of waste.
Makes sense. So in order for you to be able to sell into them, because I assume you have to, get their buy-in too, as that's how you'll get in customers. What is the credibility? You've got some great numbers and stats already. Is it more research, more these next coming pilots? What will it take to kind of get traction there?
I think, first of all, thank you very much for the question. First of all, we do need to have pilots to prove our technology. I think the technology is proven, but I think what people are looking at is the longevity of it and the robustness of it. So those pilot projects that we've already kind of lined up are going to be very important for to prove that kind of longevity of it. I think the people with the kind of early adopter mindset are currently people who already handle trash, who already have strong sustainability goals. So the first target market that we're looking at is people with strong sustainability goals and potentially and recyclers who are already handling a huge amount of trash and who have a lot of material that they can't recycle. At least 10% of paper and plastic cannot be recycled because paper and plastic can only be recycled X number of times, and contaminated paper and plastic can't be recycled. So for example, we talked to a recycling company that has a waste disposal bill every month of $40,000, and that's just the transportation. That's not even tipping fees at the landfill. So those guys who are already handling trash, this machine will help them be more profitable, and that's how we actually support recycling. And from that niche of the recyclers, kind of move into the more the people the more general user who wants to just dispose of general waste.
Wow. Okay, and that makes sense. And I'm assuming your revenues and your return are going to be higher so that, you know, when you've got some mass scale there. Is there ever a future state where I could have my home incinerator, my home Phoenix that does this?
Definitely, you know, that's why one of the things that we stated is that where we want to be is in that research space where we're continually improving our machine. While we are first to market with this technology, we do need to build kind of robust protections to stop other people from coming into our market. And how we do that is by continually innovating. At the moment, we are planning to outsource our fabrication. Eventually, to bring margins down and to be more efficient, will be to have our own manufacturing processes where we are more efficient in our processes, and our margins will get better and better as we do that.
Makes sense. Angela, over to you.
Yeah. So, Carrie, I'm so glad you asked your first question, because the first thing I wrote down was switching costs, which is, it does seem like a difficult business to get. It feels like your target market is almost people who run out of capacity or they're really looking for a solution. I'm just curious, what percent of the market can you go after where they're not kind of committed to their existing methodologies because of switching costs? Like, what percentage of the market is really viable as a customer to you?
I think that there are various markets to look at. So one is those with the sustainability goals. I just saw a recent statistic which said 20 to 25% of Fortune 500 companies have carbon zero goals and strong sustainability. And a lot of those are achieving their zero carbon goal by going zero waste to landfill. And therefore they are kind of getting out of their existing contracts for their waste disposal because they're zero waste to landfill methodology. And that's when they will employ people like recycling and use innovations like ours to achieve that zero waste to landfill goal. And then, of course, there's outside the United States, there's an enormous market. Estimates that something like 90% of waste in poorer countries don't actually get treated. 90% of waste in those countries with poor waste infrastructure just get illegally dumped. And so this is a great innovation for them, where they don't have to invest in the whole transportation network, massive landfills or waste energy plants. It's a much cheaper alternative for those countries. You see a huge market for those where there isn't a waste infrastructure.
Great. And then a quick comment, because I think we're running out of time, is just, I would look at how much you're raising, because I feel like for this business model, I would expect you to be raising more. I know you're also going after grants, but it's just something that's a comment. Thanks. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic innovation. Thank you for the great questions, and the answers were right on track. So thank you so much. And off to our next pitch. And that before we go into it, I just want to make sure that I also thank our other sponsor, which is Rocket Judge. Our judges are using judging technology called Rocket Judge. After they're putting in their scores, it's very, very easy to be able to use this flexible judging platform that lets anyone make the competitions that you're running more exciting, dynamic, and stress-free. So simply add the judges like we did, competitors and Rubric, and watch the scores roll in. That is exactly how we use it. Super easy peasy. So you can try a free demo at rocketjudge.com. Thank you, Rocket Judge, so much for being a sponsor this year. We used them wholeheartedly last year, and this year they came in as a sponsor. So thank you so much. And our pitch number 4 is Lean Orb Company. And yes, Anastasia is here. So I will try to say it the American way. So Anastasia, and your last name is Mikhalochkina. So hopefully I said that correct. But without further ado, go ahead and introduce us to your company.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Anastasia. I'm the founder and CEO at Lean Orb. We are a compostable food packaging company powered by data and corporate education. Our company's core mission is creating immediate quantifying solutions to the problem of plastic waste. I am a product designer by trade. I'm a water person and I'm a surfer. Being a waterfront community gives us the responsibility to protect our coastal waters, because the waste that we discard in our home state of Florida affects communities thousands of miles away. Learning that 180 billion single-use containers are discarded by the food service industry inspired me to start the company in 2017. Today, we're helping clients eliminate plastics by offering a variety of innovative packaging solutions. We simplify the complexity of compostable packaging by educating business owners and corporate stakeholders on products they need. And we're connecting our clients to local compost sites to make sure that our products are properly diverted. We offer a wide range of items from cups to plates, cutlery to-go boxes. The materials we use are post-consumer waste. We're staying away from complex biopolymers, bioplastics, inks, and chemical processes to make sure that the quality of the soil remains high. Finally, offering a lot of data to our clients related to their waste management practices. With a $56 billion market, North America remains the largest for biodegradable packaging, accounting for $24 billion of the annual spend. And in the last 2 years, we were fortunate to work with a diversified portfolio of corporate clients, from high-end hotels to restaurant groups to corporate headquarters, building solutions for Ritz-Carlton, the W Hotel, and Four Seasons. Today, our average order size is $750, and we offer more than 90 products to our clients. With a loyal customer base in the state of Florida, we had seen a 150% revenue growth rate year over year, which also helped us eliminate more than 11 million single-use plastics from circulation in Miami-Dade County. Our team has experience from building startups to Fortune 500 companies. We like to say that we have grit and gray hair, bringing expertise across product design, finance, bioresearch, and logistics. And our community ask is to please connect us to potential customers. We're also expanding our sales team, and be on the lookout for our equity crowdfunding campaign at the end of this year. Thank you.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. And your judges, oh, I lost my little cheat sheet here. Anastasia, your question and answer will be led by Angela Lee and me, Ahene. Angela, would you like to start us off?
I love this. Anastasia, you're going to have less garbage, and then Yuen-Li is going to take care of it, and we're going to have a garbage-free world, and we're going to save the world. This is awesome. So thank you again for doing what you're doing. So I wanted you to just define what compostable means, and is that like industrial composting? Is it kind of backyard? If you could say more about that.
Sure. So our goal is actually to offer 90% of our products are backyard compostable.
Great.
And we work with a few of local compost groups who are testing our products. So we are relying not only on certifications of our manufacturing partners, but we're actually testing our products in-house. I'm a big time environmentalist and a zero waste person. So for me, beyond just offering a solution, we want to make sure that our products will have a way of disintegration in a variety of conditions.
Great. And then if you could define your customer and specifically how you're going to get to them. So I think you mentioned you want introductions to restaurants. I forget the second one, but like, what is it? Just single, like mom and shop restaurants? Is it chains? Just if you could say more about who's your ideal customer.
So as of today, 71% of our clients belong to hotel or restaurant body. Our niche market is definitely a higher end hotels. And the reason for it, beyond our kind of generic products that we're currently offering, we're doing also custom designs. And with higher end clients, we have just greater capacity to be creative with our offering. So we are looking for also work with private schools. We have 2 schools right now that are purchasing our products, but it's a small percentage of our current customers.
Awesome. Over to you.
Yeah, so I had a chance to take a look at the website and impressed by the number of customers you guys have been able to acquire. Help us understand your go-to-market motion. How are companies learning about you? Typically, who are you displacing within these hotels and hospitality spaces? And what sort of margin are you seeing on your products? Because the price, to your point, in terms of luxury, your price points are definitely higher than regular paper products. I just want to understand kind of what the motivation is for these organizations as well.
Sure. So because we bootstrapped until now, everything, all the marketing was just a word of mouth. So I'm also belonging to ocean conservation groups, and so they were helping us get clients. We are pretty much recognized as a preferred packaging vendor for hotel association that is based in South Florida, for multiple ocean conservation groups that are nationwide. And we have currently on the team, we have a full-time sales manager, but looking for additional funding in order for us to expand our sales team. And as far as our margins currently at 47%.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then in terms of when you sign are you signing contracts with hotels or hotel groups? Are you coming in for the percentage? What's a typical replacement process? So you taking over all the forks and all the cups, or just help me understand that portion of the business?
Sure. So the way it works right now is that they have contracts with someone like Cisco, who was providing them with, plastic catering supplies. And so they're bringing us on board as a consultant and an expert in compostable packaging. And we're only supplying a certain products for them. So although we don't have contracts because they are committed to Cisco, with someone like Four Seasons or Ritz or the W Hotel, we've been servicing them for the past 2 years. So which means that not only our products, but also the quality of our services had been, high enough for them to continue working us. And with 2 of the higher end hotels, they began purchasing maybe like 3 to 4 products, and today expanded to more than 12 SKUs.
That's fantastic. 2 more questions on my side. Who do you typically compete against in terms of compostable? I mean, I'm here on the West Coast. I see there are other players in the space. Help us understand the competitive landscape.
So when we look at our competition 5 years ago, we saw 2 categories. It is someone like Cisco, who, let's say, had 150 items that fall under the category of catering supplies, but they were building it from plastic and styrofoam. So now they're maybe offering, 5 to 10 new items that fall under green or sustainable. So this is one. But if you want to get healthy, would you walk into a Burger King to get a vegan burger, right? It's the same scenario. So someone from the Marriott group, for instance, reached out to us and they said, we just cannot ask a representative out of Cisco to guide us in this sustainability journey because clearly they're not experts on the topic. And so the second category of the competition that we currently have on the market is someone like Eco Products, who are dominating the area where you at. For them, they are mostly focused on selling in bulk and wholesale. We also have a differentiation as far as what kind of products we consider compostable, and that goes back to backyard versus industrial, right? So we are not working or building with PLA and bioplastics because we just don't have the infrastructure, at least in the state of Florida, to accommodate that. So most of our products are backyard compostable. And although I think Eco Products is a fantastic company, I think our products are differentiate, and they are more of a manufacturer who are not there to educate, collect data, and consult their clients on how to transition in the most sustainable way possible.
Got it. And the last question I have on my side, you mentioned Cisco. There's a number of different wholesalers or distributors of food product and serveware. Help us understand the conversations, of any, that you've had with that, or do you believe that Leanor will be a direct to company B2B operation as you scale?
Yeah, so for now we are direct B2B, and it's not to say that we're definitely open for partnership with the right distributor, but I just feel that everyone on our team is so committed to sustainability that we want to be very careful about who we partner with and what kind of products our partners sell to, to businesses in our region. So for now, we've been blessed with the trust from, either bigger names, and they had been able to work with us directly.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions? Angela, do you have another question?
Simply, a lot of the times when hotels and restaurants do this, it's to signal to their customers they're doing this. And I'm just curious, what's been the most effective way for the hotels and restaurants to communicate to their patrons?
Sure. So it's good that you asked the question, because as I mentioned, when we begin a conversation with our clients, it's not so much of, oh, you need containers, we have containers, right? It's more than anything, how much single-use plastic is leaving your site? What is being currently communicated as far as your sustainability initiative, to your end user? And so we're building out pretty much a 3 to 5 year plan where we know that not all products will be replaced immediately. We have to help them transition to reusables where possible, and also create a larger scale kind of marketing campaign around it. So the end user will be supportive and they can use it as a marketing, to their marketing advantage. And as you mentioned, a lot of companies, they want to signal, and I don't blame them, because not everyone is passionate about the topic, but we want to give our clients every single resource in order for them to make it a sustainable transition, not to just signal and jump back to plastics. And this is why, so the way we kind of analyze our data is we want every single large client to reduce their single-use usage by about 25%. So that's our goal, right? To help them transition. And that opens up a little bit of a window where now, of course, sustainable products will always be slightly more than plastic, but it creates a budget for us to work with.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your pitch, Anastasia, and thank you for all the wonderful question and answer. Well done. So before we go on to the last pitching finalist of the Southeast, I wanted to just remind everyone of another thing, is that we have a sister organization called Ad Astra Ventures, where we bring in founders to boot camps. We have our founder boot camp coming up in September. Also, we have our investor boot camp. So those aspiring investors out there, we have 2 days of going through what it means to be an investor, to really understand unconscious bias that we all have, and be able to ask these wonderful questions like these judges on the pitch competition today. So again, go all of that information, all the links are in the YouTube link, and we're sharing them actively. And that is a little bit of a sneak peek into Ad Astra Ventures and what we do for founders and funders in the venture group that we have. So our last pitching founder, yes, Domonique, you are here. Wonderful. Is Dominique Baldrick of BOûLD Seasoning Company. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, I see your screen and you're ready to go.
Hi, I'm Dominique Bouldrick, co-founder of BOûLD Seasoning Company with my husband, Alex, who we also call the Slab Guy, since ribs have become his specialty on the grill over the past 15 years. I myself am also an avid home cook, and I created the first batch of rub in 2013, and we've honed the recipe over the past 8 years. We were so inspired by all the great reviews that the ribs were getting from friends and family that we decided to launch our BOûLD spice brand. Representation matters more now than ever, as consumers are shopping with the conscience to support brands that represent them, their taste, and their interests. When it comes to the market, did you know the U.S. seasoning and spice market is expected to reach $7.3 billion by 2025, with over $600 million representing U.S. private label sales? We currently offer our signature rib rub for sale in 9-ounce jars, and since launching our online store at the end of May, we've sold over 350 jars. And keeping with our sustainability promise, we have plans to launch a 2-ounce market sample and a 20-ounce refill in compostable bags in August. In addition to all the great reviews that we've gotten from our customers, our rub has also proven to be quite versatile, with customers raving about trying it on everything from salmon and burgers to even avocado toast. Our product uniquely stands out in taste and look from any of the current competition, and we make it by procuring the highest quality raw ingredients and utilizing our shared kitchen facility to produce our handcrafted rub. We currently distribute our rub directly to customers utilizing our Shopify store and local markets and pop-up shops. And we have plans to expand into wholesale and smaller B2B relationships that we've identified. We would like to expand our product offering to include 4 flavors, and we also have identified short-term and long-term levers we can utilize to increase production and distribution capacity as we continue to scale and grow. I've always been an avid lover of the food and beverage space, and I have over 12 years of consumer products manufacturing and management consulting experience. And Alex has over 10 years of client-facing sales experience. Our team also consists of 3 advisors. Leonte provides business acumen and leadership guidance expertise. Andy provides financial advisory expertise. And Terry provides scaling manufacturing operations expertise, as well as some startup experience. We are BOULD Seasoning Company. We're a fun lifestyle Black-owned spice brand that's environmentally conscious and fills a void in the current spice offering and demographics. Thank you.
Wonderful job. Sorry, my unmute wasn't going fast enough. So wonderful job. And your question and answer is being led by Carrie Fair and Ni Ahriana. Carrie, would you like to go first?
You bet. I would love some seasoning. It's lunchtime here, so this sounds great. And I love that you're putting it on everything, right? So yes, we all need more flavor. I think that's my #1 complaint when you eat out, is that there's just, it's missing. So talk to me a little bit about marketing. You said you've had 350 jar sales. Who's your audience? Are you getting repeat customers? How are you getting the word out?
So wonderful. Both my husband and I were University of Florida graduates, go Gators. So we both have a very vast professional and personal network. Most of our advertising is being done on, well, not advertising, we share posts on Facebook and Instagram, and then they kind of go out from there. Our exposure based on the statistics that we have is about 3,000 to 4,000 people across the various posts that we've put up. We've not done any paid marketing yet. And we've done 4 in person where we pop up at different local events around the Atlanta area. And we've had some B2C sales actually in person, which we've also gotten great reviews from as well.
That's great. And I mean, that's kind of a follow-up question is, seasonings and anything that you taste is so hard to do online, right? It's hard to kind of, you differentiate with your marketing and your labels, but then how does someone actually experience it? So I love your sample program. Is your plan next year to do more events as people come back in person?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
So more plans that we have we've entered Alex into a few barbecue competitions. We think it would be great to get some accolades to go along with what we believe is the best rib rub that we've created. In addition to that, we've also entered the Scoville spice competition, and we will be attending their in-person food trade show in March. So that'll give us another touch point for some great exposure as well.
That is great. And you are primarily obviously doing it on online sales with, it sounds like, some complementary opportunities in B2B. And you even mentioned retail. Knowing where we've gone, I mean, e-commerce is taking off, but it's still, I think it's, 13% or something of the total market. Do you look forward? Are you thinking about partnerships with Whole Foods or getting into more distribution channels?
Yes, absolutely. So not as big as Whole Foods initially to start with. We've had some interest from actually an alumni as well that has a smaller pharmacy food store startup that they've said once we're able to meet the UPC and the qualifications to be on a shelf, that we would be able to start somewhere small like that and then eventually scale into Amazon before we went to, say, a Whole Foods relationship.
Sounds smart. Yeah, especially if you got the online traction too then, and retail and front of store and then paying to play and getting as you showed with those great pictures of the spice aisle, it's a challenge, right? So
Yeah.
online, at least you have a little chance to say more about yourself. So great.
Awesome. Love the fact that you have the cases behind you. Help us understand a little bit about your manufacturing process. Are you working with a co-packer, or you guys have someone you're partnering with on manufacturing the product today?
So we are currently a handcrafted rib rub. The handcrafted is myself and Alex, the two founders, currently. And as I referred to earlier, one of the short-term levers would be either getting a piece of production equipment that can help us with measuring more accurately and mixing in a little bit larger batches. But currently we can produce a little over 1,000 units between the two of us in about a 6 to 8 hour time frame. And then currently with our shared kitchen, we are allotted 30 hours per month, and we can scale, which was the big push for us. We're with Prep ATL. We can scale those hours as we need to, as we continue to grow.
Got it. And then in terms of the handcrafted nature, help us understand your current margins in terms of the product. You know, where are we at in terms of gross margins today?
We are at about 68%, if I remember correctly. We retail for $14.99, and it costs us just around $5 to produce, manufacture, and bottle it ourselves.
Awesome. It's awesome. And then in terms of scale, you mentioned, you know, first working with this local specialty retailer, and then looking online, looking at the Amazon store. I guess talk to us about how you intend on getting the word out once you start online. Are there influencers you're planning on partnering with, the mailing lists? You mentioned the cooking or the barbecue competitions. Just help us understand how you're thinking about your overall go-to-market.
So our first focus is definitely, we want to focus in that barbecue space, and we've identified almost two subsets of customers that we would want to market to. That's your avid outdoor cook or griller, and also your home foodie. And so to get those two people, the in-person events would be a big push, as well as utilizing certain hashtags to grab the attention online of the individuals that may be seeking new flavor profiles and or just looking for a Black-owned spice business to support. During our research, we found that while there are quite a bit, but there are not a lot in comparison to the number of retailers that are representing this space.
Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity. There's a pretty enthusiastic grilling and smoking, meat smoking, not smoking community online. And they definitely follow influencers, specifically on YouTube and it's Instagram and TikTok. And so I think there's a huge opportunity for you to get your products in the hands of those tastemakers, no pun intended, and see if they can try it out. If you figure out a sponsorship with them, there's a huge opportunity with that. We've seen a number of different CPG brands scale their businesses that way. And I would be excited to see you and your husband get to a situation where you can't fulfill all the orders. So
Yeah,
definitely is a path that we would love to see here. Awesome. That's all I have.
Wonderful. Carrie, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm just excited. I love Ni's idea too about the partnership, and just thinking about, like, could Traeger grills be your, sponsor? Do I come with a package with every the wood chips? And
that would be amazing.
So look forward to seeing this and tasting. So
Wonderful. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Ni. And thank you, Dominique. Now we have finished officially all of the pitches. Well done, everyone. I think everybody just did a fantastic job. The chat is on fire on YouTube, let me just tell you. Now is the time that we transition a little bit. We're going to have the judges join a breakout room, but again, a little bit of a little, hello, judges. You need to get onto, you have to put on your video, because if we go into the breakout room and then you're not on video now, then we don't see you in the breakout room. So I know that's a little bit of a glitch on Zoom, but just wanted to give you that heads up. And for everybody in the audience, now is time for you to vote for audience choice. This is a huge piece of our Women's Fast Pitch, because really the pitches that are out there, the founders that are out there, just get super inspired by the audience saying, yes, I love that pitch. I want to vote for them. So you'll see the voting link in the chat. or visit slido.com. So that is SLIDO.com and enter code 54672. You don't have to remember that. It's in the chat down at the very bottom. So go to Slido, put in your audience choice, please. And I'm going to go with the judges and talk to them about who they pick for the winner of the Southeast region, while you also listen to our guest speaker, the wonderful Lilah Inman of Cooley. Thank you, Lilah, again for joining us today. Go ahead.
Of course. Thank you so much. All right, All right, so while the judges deliberate, I am happy to share some information with you about some trends that we're seeing in the financing world and go over some key terms that are really important for founders to know about as they think through term sheet negotiations. So I'll be covering a lot of information, but if you only remember one thing from today's presentation, I hope it's this. There's a website out there called Cooley Go that we've created that really is a treasure trove of information. It contains articles written in plain English covering nuanced legal topics. There's an interactive reporting tool feature that covers recent deal trends. And there's even a free legal document generator that you can use to generate key legal documents. So please check it out. Again, that's Cooley Go. Now in Q1 of this year, talking about deal flow and trends, Cooley was a part of 339 disclosable transactions, which was relatively consistent with our past quarters. However, there was an increase of about 18.8 billion invested capital, which is really a record for us and for our report, which has been consistently reporting for more than 15 years. In addition to just deal flow, pre-money valuations increased substantially across all types of deals, except for seed stage, which remained relatively flat. So you may be asking yourself, what does all of this mean? Well, what this means is that there's still a flurry of investment activity out there, and now really is a great time to do a raise. And overall, across the board, the terms that we are seeing remain relatively company friendly. So what terms are we talking about? I'll start the terms portion of this presentation by talking a little bit about valuation. Then I'll dive into some other key terms that are negotiated, such as board composition, liquidation preference, option pool size of the unallocated portion of the option pool, and founder vesting and revesting. So pre-money valuation, what is that? Pre-money valuation is the valuation of the company that the founders and the company and the investors negotiate, and it represents the valuation of the company before the financing round. The price per share of the new money security is calculated based off of the pre-money valuation. And as you can see from this slide, the price per share equals the pre-money valuation divided by the shares, typically on a fully diluted basis, outstanding pre-raise. Post-money valuation, on the other hand, is the valuation of the company after the raise. And in most cases, the post-money valuation just equals the pre-money plus the amount invested in the financing. Now, taking a step away from economic deal terms, an important governance term that's negotiated in connection with financings is the size of the board and board composition generally. Before you take VC money, my guess is there's probably only 1 or 2 board members, and they're probably the founders. When you start doing a raise and you're at the term sheet negotiation stage, the lead investor, which is a term we'll discuss in a moment, will most likely request a board seat. So the board will likely increase at least by 1. And then there's a discussion about whether or not there should be an independent board member also added to the board, which is typically someone that the other board members unanimously must agree upon, and oftentimes is someone that has industry experience. In connection with the raise, the financing documents, specifically the voting agreement, will cause the stockholders to have to vote for certain
Hey, Leila.
board members.
Hey, I am so sorry to interrupt your presentation. My name is Lauren and I'm with Stella Angels. We can only see half of your screen. So I wanted to see if you might be able to fix your view real quick so we can see all the words on your beautiful slides that you prepared.
Yep, give me 1 second.
Thanks.
Is that better?
Yes, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I was on the slide where we were talking about board composition. So let me get there quickly. There we go. So size of the board is negotiated and who will actually get a board seat. And this is very important because obviously the board member gets a vote, and when the board votes by written consent, it has to be unanimous. And so making sure that you have a good rapport with the person that the VC is going to put on the board is extremely important. Next, I'll discuss liquidation preference. So there's 2 types of liquidation preference, and this essentially means what is the preferred stockholder going to get back in the event of an exit. So if the liquidation preference is non-participating, this means that the investors must choose between getting back what they put in plus declared and unpaid dividends, or being treated as a common stockholder and participating pro rata in the proceeds that the common stockholders get. Non-participating is what we typically see in the early stage financing, so Series C and Series A. Full participation, on the other hand, means that the preferred stockholders not only get what they put in plus declared and unpaid dividends, but they also get to participate alongside with the common in any remaining proceeds that get distributed. Now, there's a variation of full participation called cap participation, where they get both the right of the preference and the right to participate, but only up to a certain amount. Full participation and cap participation is something we typically see later on in later stage rounds. Now, thinking through the cap table and some other items that are negotiated during the term sheet stage, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk today about the option pool increase and vesting and revesting of founder shares. So when you are negotiating a term sheet, there will typically be a provision that includes a requirement that the company expand the option pool and have the option pool that's unallocated be a certain percentage of the capitalization of the company on a fully diluted basis. As a founder, understanding what that percentage is and what that should be is really important. And in order to do that, founders often put together a budget and think through their hiring needs for the next 12 to 24 months. That way, you make sure that the unallocated option pool is sufficiently big to cover your anticipated new hires during this time period, but isn't too big to cause dilution that's not needed. Now, in connection with the round, founders are often asked to vest or revest their shares as well. This means that if you own your shares outright and are not subject to vesting, there will be a vesting restriction imposed on the shares, and the vesting schedule is typically time-based, so that if you stay with the company over a certain period of time, you'll get those shares and those restrictions will be removed, and the company will not have the option to repurchase the shares if you leave. This is a mechanism that aligns the incentives of the company with the incentives of the investor, which is to keep the founder, the person that started the company and is active in running the company, at the company so that they don't leave and take their shares and remain a large chunk of the cap table post-financing. Now, because the founders are being asked to vest and revest, they're also given acceleration, which means that under certain triggering events, their shares, their unvested shares become accelerated and they become fully vested. There's two types of acceleration, single trigger and double trigger. And really the difference is how many triggering events have to occur before acceleration occurs. For single trigger, there's one triggering event, typically a sale of the company. And for double trigger, there's two triggering events, typically the sale of the company and the termination of the founder. Now, there are also important investor rights that are negotiated at the term sheet stage. Two of these rights, information rights and preemptive rights, are typically only given to major investors, which are investors that typically write the biggest checks and meet the threshold that the founder and the lead investor negotiate at the term sheet stage. Information rights are the right to receive certain information about the company, such as annual, quarterly, and monthly financial statements. And typically, when there's a VC leading the round, the annual financial statements will be required to be audited. Now, preemptive rights, on the other hand, which are also rights that are typically given to major investors, is the right to participate in the company's next equity or debt financing. Now, while those rights are only given to major investors, there's other rights called protective provisions that are given to all preferred stockholders, which essentially allows them to block certain corporate actions that the company takes if the threshold, which is typically a majority, is not reached. So in the term sheet, there's typically a list of corporate actions that are negotiated that require preferred stockholder approval. So that's something to be aware of as you're negotiating the term sheet. Now, beyond those legal concepts, there's a couple other items I wanted to flag. What is a lead investor? This is actually not a legal term, but just a term that is used during term sheet negotiations and during the round to indicate the investor that's writing the biggest check, and typically the one that's negotiated the term sheet and the deal terms, and the one who is having counsel due diligence and review the financing documents and negotiate the financing documents with company counsel. It is also important to note that the company is not only responsible for the fees of their attorneys, but there's also typically a legal fee reimbursement concept, whereby the company is also responsible for the legal fees of the investor's counsel up to a certain amount. So that's something to keep in mind as you're budgeting and thinking through the costs of the raise. And then as the founder, you may be asking yourself, what can I do to help and get ready for my financing? Well, the most important thing is understanding and having a very clean cap table, making sure that all of the options that have been granted are reflected. Everyone that's been awarded equity by the board, make sure they're on there, that their vesting schedules are reflected. And making that very clean will definitely help. Furthermore, having a data room set up in advance that houses all of your legal documents and some other business documents and financial statements that investors will want to see will also be extremely helpful and will help the raise go very smoothly. And last but not least, communicating with your team. When there's a raise going on, this is pretty time consuming for the founder, who will have to answer diligence questions, both legal and business, and also communicate with various parties during the day. So communicating with your team and having them understand that the raise is going on is extremely important. So I know I've covered a lot of information in a very short period of time. And if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email address is linmin@cooley.com. And again, congratulations today to all presenters.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I had like a bunch of different things coming my way. I'm like, start video. So thank you, Laila, so much for what a wonderful conversation and presentation that you gave us. I know it was block full of information while we were with the judges. So thank you, Laila, so much. And welcome judges back. And I think that also all of the founders are coming back. So I'll wait for that to happen. And wanted to make sure that everybody is good. Everybody did such a great job. I'm so proud of everybody. So they have come through. Yeah, I know, Angela, thank you. Great job. All of them pitch prepped with myself or with our team. So I know that it's been a long haul for most of you. So I just wanted to congratulate you on today, because it is hard to do it through video, to show your passion through video. It's very hard to do that. So well done to everybody. And so I would like to announce the winner first, and then the audience choice winner. And then the judges are going to give just kind of like some feedback on everybody, just because this is an educational experience, and we want to make sure that everybody is getting some great feedback on demand. Again, it is very promotional. It's very supportive of what you're doing, because the entrepreneurial journey is hard. It's ups and downs and wonderful wins, but then also some feedback and to get everything better. So without further ado, the winner of the Women's Fast Pitch for the Southeast region is Lean Orb. Congratulations.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Well done on your pitch. Wonderful job. And wanted to have, and then the audience choice, and we'll go back to the judges. The audience choice is the Res Rev. So congratulations on that, on the audience choice. And we're going to hear from one of the judges. Nee, would you like to give a little bit of the reasons why the winner was picked?
Absolutely. So yeah, we were very impressed with Lean Orb's business, especially the traction that they're seeing in the South Florida area, and their unique go-to-market with placing a consultant at the target organizations as kind of a Trojan horse in the best sense of the term, of a way to kind of get into the business and place their SKUs into the organizations. We like that go-to-market a lot, and we look forward to seeing how that can continue to scale as you expand to other geos. The one bit of feedback that we would provide is that, I know we had a very short period of time for the actual pitch, but the 45% gross margins, that's a very exciting number. And the ability to do well while doing good is something that all investors are going to be attracted to. And so the only feedback that we would give is don't bury that great headline.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And then next is the audience choice, Res Rev, and that is Angela, correct?
Yeah. So the way that we evaluate companies is through the 4P framework: people, problem, progress, and price. We also didn't talk about price today. From a people perspective, the verbal you gave about your team, I thought was better than what's on your deck in terms of why you're the right team to run this. So I would bring more of that relevant experience into your pitch. The problem is really large, which is great, but it's quite competitive. So just really being clear about your value prop. And then progress, as you develop, we want to see repeatable progress. So really knowing your customer acquisition channels and your customer acquisition cost. Really great job though. And you can see that people are really excited about the product.
So thank you for that. And also would love to get some feedback and some judges kind of comments on Ahriana Edwards, Vaila shoes. Of course, like I'm a size 11, as I said. I love this company. I love all of the companies. It's like picking a favorite child that cannot, right? You guys did all so good. So the judge that was assigned to her is, I forgot.
Me.
Okay, great. Yes, Rini, go ahead.
Ahriana, great job. Really enjoyed your presentation. You have a really strong start into a niche area, and I really look forward to the November release of the app. One point what I'd like to see a little more in your presentation would be, you mentioned the $50,000 ask. I'd like to hear more about that, and just to get a better idea of what you're asking, where it's going, etc. But overall, great presentation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's hard to do it in 3 minutes, right?
Right.
Exactly. Like, wait a minute. That's where question answer is super important. So thank you so much. And next is Chan Yuen from Phoenix Solutions. I love the innovation, and I know the judges loved it too. So and I just forgot about what judge.
Sylvia.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. So from a people perspective, I mean, you are absolutely the right team to be building this. So great job on people. From a problem perspective, huge market. I think being incredibly clear about segmenting your market in terms of who is and who is not who you're going after. And then in terms of progress, when you get to the point, I want to see a sales funnel, right? So when we reach out to 10 people, these are how many people take a meeting, these are how many decision makers we get, and this is our average contract size. And here's how it differs for maybe kind of an, domestic customer versus an international customer. And the more specificity around that, the better.
Wonderful. Well done. I'm so excited about everybody. And then Domonique with bold ass seasoning. I just love saying it. Like I'm going to say it all the time. It's like the only time that I can say bad words out in public. So thank you for that. So Judge, I think it was Carrie. Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
Yeah, no, great job, Dominique. We love it. And I mean, it seems like you're on the tipping point of doing something great, kind of just right there. And, it's a great product. And then as we said, in the right hands and the right influencers, I think it's going to do incredibly well. From a pitch perspective, as Sylvia said, 3 minutes doesn't give you much time to cover it, but I think we would love to see kind of where you can go in the next, year, 5 years, kind of what that plan is laid out. A little bit more focused too on your value proposition and differentiators. How exactly are you going to, to get to the market and to highlight that true differentiator? And even then your target market, right? We're going to start small in here and then grow. But I've started to follow the slab guy, so cannot wait to see you guys winning these next competitions and growing out and having your own kitchen, perhaps.
Thank you.
Yes, I love the competition because it's about you getting in front of everybody, the judges, the investors in the audience, also customers in the audience for some of you. So we're closing out our time together, but I wanted to also call all accredited investors. We're setting up special purpose vehicles for all the Women's Fast Pitch participants who are actively raising rounds. So click on the form link in the chat to learn more, or join the post-event Zoom with Lauren Rowley of Stella Angels that is being done right after this Zoom. So come on over and give us a ring and let us know how you want to interact with us. Wanted to also promote the Women's Venture Summit. It's an experience. You've seen today that it is about pitching. It's about connecting the founders that are here to judges, to investors, making sure that there's great connections there, because the investor experience and the investor interactions is an experience. It is a journey. So why not start it while networking and listening to wonderful panelists and speakers at the Women's Venture Summit, September 17th and 18th, 2 days. Find out who wins at the Women's Fast Pitch Finals on those days, because we have all of the ladies from all of the regions across the United States coming together and pitching that final time at the Women's Venture Summit. We have about over 50 plus speakers to learn from panels to workshops to Ask Me Anything sessions to networking face-to-face to due diligence processes. All of that is all involved in the Women's Venture Summit. It is virtual. We do have viewing parties as well. So let us know if you would like to join one of them, or go on Eventbrite and find that out. If you have signed up, and this is a very special promotion, sign up for 3 of the Women's Fast Pitches, because they're all free events. But if you come, you receive a special promo code for discounted Women's Venture Summit tickets. So that is something that, we really want to be accessible to everybody, but we are also an organization that needs to run summits every single year. We want to keep on doing that and be sustainable. So thank you for helping us out. So in closing, I wanted to thank the founders. You guys did fantastic. I mean, amazing innovations, amazing products, amazing markets, going after the right customers. So product market fit, founder market fit, we saw it all today. Thank you so much, judges, for being part of our network, to come in, donate your time for these wonderful founders and our organization. Thank you to our sponsors, Kohlhepp, Next Wave Impact Foundation, and the Impact Seat. Join us next week, every Tuesday in the whole month of August. But next week, we have the Women's Fast Pitch Midwest region at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So thank you again for joining us. It has been a wonderful pleasure. Blessings to everybody, and see you next week. Bye.